Get in, chop.
Yo, what's up, you guys? It's your girl, Th3rd Eye LPC, and thank you for tuning in to this week's episode of the Self-Aware and Effed Up podcast. This week, I have an amazing guest. I cannot wait for you guys to hear a little bit about her experience. She is an author, a motivational speaker, as well as a travel influencer. Her name is Difernt, and I tell you guys, she is definitely very different, and I want you guys to just go ahead and get ready. Without further ado, please welcome to the Self-Aware and Effed Up podcast, Difernt. Hey, Difernt, how are you doing today?
What's up, Tree? How's it going? Thank you for having me. Yes, everybody out there listening to, watching. What's up? My name is Difernt, spelled Diferent, and I'm happy to be here. Rock out with your girl. Be more self-aware and get effed up with you, yeah?
Well, it's a little bit too early for us to be getting effed up, but I mean, it just depends on how you It depends on how you look at the word, but I so appreciate your time.
Somewhere in the world.
That is true. That is true. But I do appreciate your time. I was like doing some research and show prep for you, and I really got super excited to talk with you. So I guess we can just go ahead and start out by having you tell the audience a little bit about yourself.
Like you said, I'm an author, motivational speaker, travel influencer, content creator, CEO of my own small business, as my business is Th3rd Eye Entertainment, LLC, a business that strives to bring social awareness to society through our products and services in which we educate, inspire, and entertain all at once. And I guess, what do you want to know? I mean, because I can be long-winded, short-winded.
I just want to know a little bit more about your journey, because you have, some upbringing that kind of was intriguing, because your survival story of like just surviving things, like I want to know that part of you and get to kind of to see how you evolved into the version of you that is sitting here before me today.
So as you guys already know, my titles, but giving you guys some more of a background, you guys know I'm from Houston. I'm 32. Had a pretty good childhood up until the time I was 11. And then my family and I fell on hard time. And we ended up homeless for around the next 3 years, living pillow to post, everywhere, really, literally, sleeping from, cars, shelters, sleeping in parks, relatives, strangers' house. And even at one point, I was sleeping at a crack house. And at the age of 14, I was secretly placed in foster care by a family member, and I stayed in there for the system for 6 months until I found out through another form of foster care that if you stayed in and aged out in the state of Texas, that they would pay for your tuition to college. And so right there, a light bulb went out of my head, and I just had to think, let me use these my street smarts to elevate my book smarts, because I saw no other way out for me, man. Growing up in that rough and tough environment for 3 years, it turned you into somebody you're not supposed to be. You never meant to be or wanted to be. And mind you, I'm 11 years old and seeing things that I shouldn't see. And so I won't say when that opportunity came, but when that blessing in disguise more so came, I just made that decision. And so when my family found out, where I was, and, they wanted me to come home. By then I had already, a bell had been rung. And I just made the decision to spend the next 4 years in the system, in which it wasn't no picnic either. It was just a lesser of the evil, if you will. When you get into the foster care system, you don't have a name or an identity. You become a case number, so to speak. And so I spent the next 4 years being shuffled around different foster homes, different schools. By the time I graduated, I think I've been to a total of like 16, 15 schools. And so I had about 15, 16 different personalities, that's collectively not through high school. Let's get this in. But yeah, I ended up going through that and came out on top, if you will. Graduated and went to Sam Houston State University. And with that opportunity, that's an opportunity, if you will. So many doors opened up for me. Got to travel abroad. That's where my travel bug was planted. I studied abroad in Kim Young University at South Korea. And within that opportunity, while being over there, I traveled to 8 other countries, including Japan and China.
Wow.
And just so many more opportunities opened up for me. I started my own student organization, title paid forward, that was tailored to encouraging and spreading the words of the importance of education to, different high schools. And so when I would go there and share my story and testimony, afterwards, there would be some kids that come up to me and tell me, well, I didn't know the state of Texas would pay for my tuition. I'm going to go to college now. And so right there, that's when my motivational bug was planted. I realized I had a story to share and it would inspire others, as well as I ended up graduating with my degree in international business. I have 2 minors in economics and communication, as well as I have a few years later got my master's degree in entrepreneurship. And, sometime down the road, got my real estate license and insurance license. And, with all that being said, though, Tree, you can have all those accomplishments and notches under your belt and still be fucked up. This is how I was, so to speak. And I was self-aware of it, if you will.
Yeah.
And like I said, coming up from that chaotic environment, anybody who has grown up in an abnormal environment, for them, it would be normal. That's all they know, right?
Right.
And so when I was taken out of that situation and placed in foster care, although the system itself was no picnic, I was actually placed in really nice foster homes with foster parents who looked like me, if you know what I mean.
Nice.
And, had nice houses, nice cars, well-paying jobs, had college degrees. And so that what also inspired me is like, you are who you hang around, so to speak.
Right.
And however, when I got taken out of the environment and placed in foster care, I was, taken aback. I was culture shocked because for me, chaos was normal. And so being taken out of that environment and placed in a loving home, so to speak, or a more calmer environment, it wasn't normal for me. I just felt that it was too good to be true. It wasn't going to last long. Or people had hidden agendas, which was at times, it was true. But for the most part, that's just how I became. I was self-aware that I became a self-sabotaging person because I just decided, I'm the captain of my own ship. And I decided where to, navigate and when to decide to sink it. So what I would do was I would, push people away, squander opportunities just because, I didn't feel I was worthy of it or it wasn't real to me. I didn't feel like, it would last long. So all throughout high school and throughout college, I would have that type of personality at times to where I would push people away because I didn't want to let them get too close to me and squander opportunities because, I didn't think I was worthy of it. And so it was like that for me, even though I made it through, college, got all the opportunity to travel and all these degrees, I still had, mental issues and things from my childhood I had to deal with. And it started to see throughout my young adulthood to where I was squandering career opportunities that came my way. I had a lot of opportunities come my way that could have just put me from the back to the front when it took me so long, but I'm glad it did because I had to earn it and learn my steps, learn myself more. So with that being said, there was one incident, if you will. I had a meeting with a well-connected person and I let those negative thoughts get to me, telling me, you're not good enough, you're not going to make it, or they just taking, pity on you or whatever. So I purposely showed up late to that meeting and it left a sour taste in that person's mouth. They really didn't want to work with me afterwards. And so for years, I dwelled on that and among other mistakes that I had made in the past until one day I woke up and, faced in my 30s, I just had to look myself in the mirror and face that ugly truth and acknowledge that, whatever I went through as a child, it may or may not, it wasn't my fault. It wasn't in my control. I had no control of that. But as an adult, it's on me to fix. If there's a problem that's bothering me and keeping me up at night and holding me back in life and I can't move on, then it's a problem that I need to go and fix. And you can't expect the person that hurt you wrong to fix that problem because they moved on to their next victim. Right. And so I said, and that's what I just decided to dismiss that notion that, Black people don't do therapy. And I took myself to therapy. And so that's what led to me, getting my mental health in check is what led me writing a book and starting a business. And so, and I'm glad I did. And like I said, coming up from that environment and in the culture we're taught, well, some of us are taught, what goes on in this house stays in this house. So, you can't talk about your past and your trauma, the things that hurt you. You just got to take it and move on. And so I got tired of that and just started to, reprogram my mind and stop accepting the status quo, especially in the Black culture. When it feels like for us, to me, in my opinion, especially the women, it's not entitlement, if you will, but it's mandated for us to put up with BS or bullshit, and take it just because, especially when it comes to our family.
Right. Yeah.
Some of the people, most people that have done me wrong, it's from my family, and some of them expect me just to forgive and move on without any type of acknowledgement or recommendations of how you can fix it before we move on. But that's how it is in life with some people. But with that being said, again, don't expect for anybody that hurt you in the past, that's doing you wrong, to fix it. It's on you to take back your power and break away from them chains and find your voice and speak out and set boundaries. That's one thing I've witnessed and learned and gained from getting my mental health in check. If people ask, well, what's going to come out of me talking about, what I went through in my past and looking at it, what I found out is that I became more self-aware. Yeah, ironically speaking. And when you become self-aware of yourself and your surrounding and others, you realize what you're willing to put up with and what you won't put up with. And the next step is that you find your voice. And when you find your voice, you're able to speak up and speak out and stand up for yourself when you're being, wrong. And
what was it like for you kind of getting to that place in therapy where you started to kind of stand up for yourself?
I think I was ready. I had been pushed to have so much bottled up and kept in to where it was seeping out and affecting me, not only career wise, but, personal wise, so I had to look myself in that mirror and just face that ugly truth that, I need to get my shit together. And whoever hurt me in the past, I can't expect for them to, fix what they've done. They probably won't even remember it,
Yeah.
And so I just, said, and again, I didn't let, finances be the reason that it stopped me from getting my mental health in check. A lot of times people say, oh, it's too expensive to go talk with a therapist. And that's true. But however, there are other alternatives and resources out there for you. So don't let finances be the reason why you don't get your mental health check. And then therapy isn't the only option for you as well. Yeah. But I want to take this time, Tree, and just advocate for mental health on the next level, because that's what we do here at Third Eye Entertainment. Is push heavily for mental health awareness, especially in the Black culture. And so with that being stated, I want anybody out there that's listening and watching to know if you're going through any type of mental illness or stress or anguish, being depression, bullying, anxiety attacks, dealing with suicidal thoughts, whatever the case may be, please know that it is okay to not be okay, but don't ever sit there and not be okay. Go get help. Be it talking with a therapist, a family member, a friend, picking up a hobby, cutting people off, mending broken bridges, even getting on medication if that's the case. Do whatever it is that you have to keep your mental health in check and keep you from going off the deep end and possibly taking anybody with you. If you need, or if you know anybody who may need these mental health resources, please feel free to share it with them. The crisis hotline number is 1-800-273-8255. Or you can call or text 988, or you can text 741-741. And for those that would prefer, you guys can check out mentalhealthishealth.us, or you guys can visit 988lifeline.org. Or those that are outside of the U.S. that's watching your girls podcast, you guys can check out incounseling.com. Again, that's spelled ENCOUNSELING.com. And remember, although I am giving you these mental health resources, you have to do your own homework and find what works best for you, because at the end of the day, you're the captain of your own ship and you decide where to navigate the water. And lastly, when it comes to mental health, I want you guys to remember, whatever trial and tribulation that you are going through, this too shall pass and you will get through it. So going off the deep end is not an option. It's not worth it. So therefore, don't do it.
Yeah. Okay.
And, I digress on that a little bit.
So what led you to actually write your book, What If? A Controversial Paradigm Shift?
This is of getting my mental health in check and talking with therapy. That's what how I came about writing my book, What If? A Controversial Paradigm Shift. Uh, Being stuck in the house for the pandemic, who knew that was on a menu. But that popped up in 2020, and I was traveling and doing my thing before. Had been to or got up to just around 50 countries, and the pandemic happened. So it's like, take your ass in the house and don't stay there until you to come out.
Yeah.
And so that dug into my depression, and again, like I said, facing my ugly truth, and just doing what I had to do. Talking with a therapist, they encouraged me to get back into something I love, which was writing and journaling. In doing so, one day, May 25th, 2020 happens, the day George Floyd died, and so and he's from Houston as well. For those that don't know, or was from Houston. I'm from 5th Ward. He's from 3rd Ward. We're right next to each other. And so when the protest happened, I definitely wanted to get involved and have my voice heard. However, I just felt that I wanted my voice to be heard long after his protest was over with and long after I'm gone. And so talk with God and asking him for the spirit of discernment. This is what he showed me, piece by piece. I would start writing out little questions, and started this in June 2020. And in December 2020, I was finished with the manuscript and showed it to my lawyer. She gave it high praises and asked me that question that rocked my world, Tree. And she was like, what's the name of your business? And I'm like, huh? What? Huh? What if? And so that's one thing about life. No matter how many, degrees you got under your belt, money you got in your bank account, doing this, that, and the third, you're never too old and too equipped to keep learning. And so that's just how I look at life. No matter how many notches I got under my belt, I'm still going to observe and learn. And so with that, I had to hit the ground running on how to start an LLC. And so that's how 3rd Eye Entertainment was born. And with that, again,
why 3rd Eye Entertainment?
So I don't want to say well, if you were to know me and you ask my friends, they would tell you I would be like that Black hippie. I'm one that's just like chakra healing with the sage and incense, the meditation. That's me. And I do a lot of chakra healing and meditation. And so when it comes to your 3rd eye, that's your second or seventh chakra. It depends on how you look at it. You have your crown, you have your 3rd eye, you have your throat chakra, you have your heart chakra, you have your solar plexus chakra, and then your sacral chakra, and then your root chakra. And so with your 3rd eye, you're able to see beyond, the naked eye when you allow yourself to do it so and get out your own way and not blinded by your own wants, if you will. And so my motto is, or one of my thoughts is when you have your heart and your mind in tune with one another, then you can achieve and manifest anything that you want in life. And so, again, and with 3rd Eye, we talk about topics that try to bring social awareness to society. And again, one of the topics is that we talk about in many is in regards to inequality and racial injustice. And so with my book, What If? A Controversial Paradigm Shift, it's the first product that we have to offer to the public. And so with this book, What If? A Controversial Paradigm Shift, this is a book that was written to encourage, and inform thought-provoking conversations about injustice and systemic racism in America. And I've done this through graphic and provocative illustrations. So be advised that this is sensitive content. It's intended for mature audience. And so if you can't take this type of heat, still come on to the kitchen. Just get your little fire. I'll be all right. Well, that's the point of it all, is to have conversations that need to be had that are often swept under the rug and turned a blind eye to. And the way that I've written this book is set up in 4 main paradigm shifts. We have historical, political, precedent, and hypothetical. And I'm basically just asking the question, what if, in the sense of a race role reversal, just asking these questions, what if this was you and your people instead of ours that it happened to? And again, have 4 main paradigms. We have historical, political, precedent, and hypothetical. In each of these paradigms, I'm asking hypothetical questions in the sense of what if this would have happened to a different race or culture than what it happened to in the past. I'm speaking on events and topics that have occurred in the African American community and in America over time. And so, for example, with historical paradigm shift. We have historical events that happen. And so, for instance, the first page you open up in chapter 1 in historical, you will see me asking the question, what if in 1619 Africans started dealing in illegal slave trading, whereas they kidnapped millions of English men, women, and children and brought them on slave ships to America? And then you'll see that provocative and thought-provoking illustration with white slaves in chains and shackles on slave ships. And you have the black slave masters with the whips. You have some jumping from the ships. And so it's things like that I ask the questions throughout the book that make you think. Will definitely piss off some people. Like I said, it's a mature audience. But again, I definitely want to note that this book isn't, and it's a disclaimer there to let those know that this book is not intended to incite any type of racial war or hostility towards any type of specific group. It's just simply meant to make you think and push that envelope to get you to have these conversations that need to have. And if you ask why I go the controversial route, the reason being is because one thing I learned about a tree is when it comes to society, this society here, they love controversy. They'll flock to that before anything. And so that's just that attention grabber to get their attention. And if they look beyond, historical, political, and precedent, they will see that it's not just about, pissing off white folks or rubbing people the wrong way or trying to, bid a race war. It's more so about getting you to come to that round table and talk about ways that we can come together to come up with systemic change instead of dwelling on systemic racism, talking about unity, accountability, acknowledgement, ways that we can plant seeds for the next generation. I'm aware, change doesn't happen overnight. And it happens with, more than one person complaining about the issue. And so, I just thought, what if this was the generation that starts it? Or, I'm one who tried. I often say nothing beats a failure but a try. Yeah. And so here's my little bit to it. And for those out there that have, the negative sayings about it, I say this. One thing I've learned from number 45 is that he taught me, and him and other people, is that you go where you celebrate it and not where you tolerate it. This man, being in office for 4 short years, caused all that chaos and then some afterwards. It still had 75 million people in the U.S. adult voting for him. So that's 25% of the adult U.S. voting population in America that is still riding for this man. 75 million people. And so that right there, Tree, it tells me no matter what you push into the public, what you about in life and who you are, it's always going to be somebody out there that's going to buy what you sell. So again, you go where you celebrate it and not where you tolerate it. So with this book, my approach and my method in promoting it is to go toward people who understand where I'm coming from and to get them to spread the word and share reviews and thoughts on it to get those conversations rolling. And
so like, I know you're very into definitely social justice. What I know you mentioned the George Floyd kind of thing prompting that, but what other than that from your past, like how do you personally kind of get connected with this fight against social injustice?
Well, coming up as a young Black woman in the deep fried country South, I've been faced with adversity all my life, even without knowing I was dealing with adversity. Luckily, coming up in Houston, this is a melting pot. The city is a melting pot, so we have everybody here. And so, however, being on the outskirts of outside of Houston and traveling throughout Texas, I've definitely experienced, injustice and racism, and especially in different countries as well. But and I will say this, so not so as much as here at home.
I just wanted to know kind of your personal journey with it. You kind of captured that. I mean, I know that, there was definitely a large movement towards, trying to find a way to combat that. And there was definitely a lot during the previous administration that incited a lot of foolishness within just racism in general. So it's definitely a book for such a time as this and where we are right now. But I definitely wanted to just kind of know a little bit more about that personal connection. So you've kind of already kind of dove into some things from your past that kind of connect you with this idea of being self-aware and effed up. But I just want to speak and kind of hear a little bit more about how you personally identify with it just as different.
Okay. How I identify as self-aware and fucked up?
Yeah, how do you connect with that idea of being self-aware and fucked up?
I connect with that idea of being self-aware and fucked up at times, of being self-aware and fucked up, because when I'm fucked up, I'm self-aware of it.
Okay.
No, but I guess like I said, just being real with myself and facing that ugly truth. Like I said, when it came from me, when I just accepted that, I had an issue that I need to fix and I need to get my shit together because it was holding me back from doing what I need to do in this life. I couldn't achieve and move on from the past because I was stuck in there. I was stuck in that psychological box, that mental bondage, whether I did it to myself or it was caused by others. There was a problem that needed to be fixed. And I was aware of that it was a fucked up problem that needed to be fixed. And it's nothing, I'm not perfect. I'm still a work in progress. Nothing happens overnight. That's one thing I want to note when it comes to getting your mental health in check. There's a lot of people out there that think and feel that it's a one-stop shop fix. It doesn't work like that at all. It's just like when you decide to get your physical house in order and you stop eating all the junk food and eat healthy and exercise. You'll have to do that for the rest of your life, because if you do and you go back to it, you're going to be worse off. And so just when it comes to the mental health, you have to make that full-on commitment and stick with it for the rest of your life. As long as you live, you're going to go through trials and tribulations. That's going to bring on some type of stress and anxiety and make you want to, possibly go off the deep end. And so you're going to have to, keep your mental health maintained. I won't say in check, but maintained. And once you do that, and again, don't let, finances or your feelings about going to a therapist be the reason why you don't get your mental health in check. There are other things you can do, picking up a hobby, exercising, talking with families and friends if you don't want to talk with a stranger. Just again, find what works best for you when it comes to that. And what I want people to take away from me once the show is over is to look at me as an example of a person who can be, so come from a fucked up background, past, and at times can be fucked up, but yet and still can live a bliss life, so to speak, and can still do amazing things and can help people. And that's just what you can do when it comes to getting your mental health in check. And when you do that, you can do anything. And so many doors open up for you. And again, it's not going to be easy. You'll have to face trials and tribulations throughout the rest of your life. But when you become self-aware of the things that, you're willing to put up with and you won't put up with, like I said, you find your voice. And when you find your voice and you speak up and speak out for yourself, then it's when you're able to set boundaries. And when you set boundaries, with yourself and others, then, again, so many doors open up. And so that's what I've learned or can take away from being self-aware and fucked up.
How can people connect with you if they want to purchase your book or if they want to follow you on social media platforms, YouTube, any of your information? How can they connect with you?
Anybody out there that's interested, you guys can get my book at my website, differentworld.net, as well as you can check out all my other social media handles on my website, Instagram, my TikTok, as well as my YouTube channel, especially my YouTube channel. That's where most of my activities goes down. I do topics including injustice, but we're not just about talking about racism. We talk about other social awareness issues, including child sex trafficking, domestic violence, social awareness topics of the month. So for instance, this is October. October is breast cancer awareness. And so we've been doing a topic on breast cancer awareness this month. Okay. We talk about issues with the LGBTQ community, such and such. Even with my book, so to speak, like I said, it's not just about Black and white. I have everybody included, even, paying homage to Native Americans, Muslims, Hispanics, and again, even the LGBTQ community is included in the book as well. And so I definitely encourage and hope and pray that, people get out and get this book and read it and share it and show your reviews. You can leave a review on Amazon, but most of the traffic that you go buy my book is on my website, differentsworld.net, as well as you guys can also, if you don't mind, please go to my website, Difference World YT. And hit that subscribe button for your girl questions. Thursday, we do pop culture reviews and movie reviews. And on Fridays is where I drop my travel vlog. So if any of you guys are interested in living vicariously through me and all the places I've been, definitely go to my YouTube channel and hit that subscribe button. I'm about to drop another travel video, my trip to Cuba. And so definitely go to Difference World YT, come to learn YouTube channel and check out your girl.
Well, I definitely appreciate so much you taking the time out of your day today to speak with me and to share your story with the audience. It's definitely a very empowering and uplifting story. You guys make sure that you check out this episode and make sure you follow and connect with Difernt. All of her information will be in the description of the episode. Also, be sure to follow me, Th3rd LPC, on all social media platforms under the handle Th3rd LPC. Until next time, be safe, be well, and make sure that you take care of your mental health.